I thought about how can we make a difference while also meeting the wants and needs standard. And that's where we came up with our question, what do we need to do our best learning? And then what do the students in Texas need in order to do their very, very best learning after they were affected by the flood of Hurricane Harvey? I decided, you know what, this might be a good learning opportunity to take something as wants and needs and turn it into a real life situation. I'm Jennifer Lesner and I teach first grade at DKiES. I wanted them to learn wants and needs in different kind of situations that are other than your own wants and needs. I asked my students, I first started off and I asked them, what do you need to do your very best learning? They came up with oodles, like tons of ideas. Then I showed them a picture of a school that was flooded without any background information or anything, and I asked them, so, well, what do you think about this picture?
Why is the school flooded? How are they going to play? Do they need a boat? Are they okay? Did a big wave hit them?
I said, what do you think they need to do their very best learning? The students came up with lists of possible things that they might need. And some of the kids weren't really understanding the effects of a flood. I took the students' needs that they came up with and we put them in a bucket, and then we filled it up with water to simulate a flood. And then one of the students said, well, Mrs. Lesner, the flood water in our bucket is clean, and I noticed that the flood water in the pitcher was dirty. So I said, well, what are you gonna do to make it dirty? So they went out onto the playground field and grabbed dirt and rocks and leaves and stuff, and they put it all into the bucket and we let it just sit. We were learning that the floodwater doesn't just come in and go out. The floodwater stays for quite a while until it can get displaced or evaporate. So we left it for about a week.
I'm going to let you guys look at this after I pull a couple of items out. Here is the book after a flood has happened.
There's another one in there. Open it up!
Whoa.
Okay, it brought something from a picture to real life, and it helped them make the connection to, wow, these students really might need supplies and they really might need something that I don't need right now in my life. Their needs are different from my needs. From there, the students came up with their own ideas on how to help Texas, how to help the kids. A couple of students came up with the idea of helping students just like them. They wanted to help first grade students that had been affected by the flood. So I signed up for the Adopt a Classroom program. And I didn't know where it was going to lead, but it was kind of the direction that my students wanted to go. So that was the direction that I went. I got an email back and it says, you have been assigned to a first grade classroom in Houston, Texas. The first graders were in need of new school supplies because of the flood, and that's what they wanted to do. That's how they wanted to help. At first, the students were just coming up with their own ideas, and I was just typing it all down. And as I was typing it all down, I didn't put it in any particular order. It was just get your ideas out and type them up. And it was really interesting because it started off really slow. A lot of people didn't have like an idea of how can I help them get what they need. And then one student's idea sparked another student's idea, and then it just kept going. And by the time we were done, we had a lot of ideas. Way too many ideas, yes. And so we then looked at it and we said, I asked them the question, I asked my students the question, well, what can we at our school, in our classroom, what can we actually do? Once we got it kind of eliminated down to a couple of ideas, a handful, maybe 7 or 8 ideas that we could accomplish in our classroom, we did a poster board what is our idea up at the top? And is it easy? Is it hard? And what do we need in order to accomplish this idea? The students presented their letters that they wrote to our principal, asking if it would be okay if we put a money bucket in the office, and asking if it would be okay if we hung the posters. And of course she agreed. She said yes. We got together with our third grade buddy classroom, and they helped us create these posters to hang up all over the school. And we weren't quite sure, I wasn't quite sure what the response would be. I thought maybe we would send a couple of care packages off and that would, be the end of it. But as soon as we hung the posters and as soon as we put the money bucket in the office, donations just started coming in bigger than I had ever, anticipated or expected. It's very memorable. A student came in with one of our very first donations and they said, "These are our donations for your school project to help students get what they need in Texas." And one of my students, he just lifted his arms in the air and he was like, "Mrs. Lesner, we're actually doing it. We're actually helping people get what they need to learn." Right there, I was like, oh, well, maybe this project is gonna go somewhere. Maybe this project is teaching the kids wants and needs and empathy towards others. With the overwhelming amount of supplies that came in, we boxed up as a class their needs, and we made sure that those were going to be sent off first. All in all, we counted our money and we raised about $200 to send off the overwhelming amount of school supplies that we had accumulated from our classroom, and our entire school community also helped us gain those school supplies. My students decided that they wanted to write friendship letters, that this wasn't just something that they just wanted to meet the needs of these students. They also wanted to reach out and connect with each other and make new friends. We told them all about Hawaii, where we live, and we incorporated some of the Hawaiian culture and the Hawaiian studies that we've been learning. They were overjoyed with the opportunity to actually put their ideas into practice and to actually take their ideas and help the first grade students. A lot of my students are stuck in their own little box of, what do I need? What do I want? What about me? And it got them to think about other people and to help other people in their own times of need. And I think they learned more and they were more excited about learning because they were driving their own learning. It was them coming up with the questions, them coming up with the decisions, and I just kind of sat back and was the facilitator and helped their ideas come to life and helped them get to the point, so they came up with everything and I just helped them get there. This was one of the most memorable projects for them to do, and I think that they'll remember it for a long time. I know I will.